On April 26, 1986, the world changed in just a few seconds. A nuclear reactor exploded in the middle of the night. Not because of war, not because of an attack, but because of a series of decisions that should never have happened. What followed was silence, lies, radiation, and one of the worst disasters in human history. This is the real story of what happened at Chernobyl. The Chernobyl nuclear power plant, located near the city of Pripyat in Soviet Ukraine, was one of the Soviet Union's proudest engineering achievements. It had 4 massive nuclear reactors. On the night of April 25th, engineers prepared for a routine safety test on Reactor 4. The goal sounded simple. Could the reactor's turbines still generate enough electricity during a power outage until backup generators started? A simple test, a normal procedure, nothing unusual, but this night was different. A delay forced the test to happen during the night shift when the most experienced operators were gone. And that changed everything. To perform the test, operators had to lower the reactor's power, but the power dropped far below safe levels. Instead of stopping the test, the team tried to force the reactor back online. They disabled multiple automatic safety systems. That decision was catastrophic. The RBMK reactor design already had a dangerous flaw. At low power, it became highly unstable. Yet the operators continued. At 1:23 a.m., the test finally began. Steam pressure surged. The reactor became uncontrollable. Then, in panic, they pressed the emergency shutdown button. This should have stopped everything. Instead, it triggered the explosion. Because of a fatal design flaw in the control rods, the shutdown system caused a sudden power spike. In less than a second, Reactor 4's power output surged to over 100 times normal levels. Then, a massive explosion tore the reactor open. A second blast followed. The 1,000-ton concrete lid was blown apart. The nuclear core was now exposed directly to the night sky. The explosion released enormous amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere, but the people in nearby Pripyat had no idea. They woke up to a strange blue glow in the sky. Some even stood on bridges watching the fire from a distance. Children played outside. Families went on with their day. No one warned them, no evacuation, no truth. The Soviet authorities delayed public action for hours. Meanwhile, firefighters arrived without protective gear. They believed it was a normal electrical fire. Many of them walked directly into deadly radiation. Some picked up pieces of graphite with their bare hands. Within hours, many began vomiting, collapsing, and suffering burns unlike anything doctors had seen. Because this wasn't fire. This was radiation poisoning. And it was already too late. For nearly 36 hours, the Soviet Union refused to evacuate Pripyat. Over 49,000 people remained exposed. The government tried to control the narrative. Even after radiation alarms went off in Sweden, Soviet officials still denied the scale of the disaster. The truth could no longer be hidden. Finally, buses arrived. Residents were told they would leave for only 3 days. They took only essentials. Most never returned. Their homes, schools, toys, and memories were left frozen in time. Pripyat became a ghost city overnight. The radioactive cloud didn't stay in Ukraine. It spread across Belarus, Russia, Poland, Germany, Scandinavia, and much of Europe. Entire regions were contaminated. Forests turned red and died. Animals mutated. Thousands of square kilometers became unsafe. The long-term human cost is still debated, but the disaster caused immediate deaths, cancer spikes, thyroid disease in children, lifelong trauma for survivors, and perhaps most importantly, it destroyed trust in the Soviet government. Many historians believe Chernobyl accelerated the collapse of the Soviet Union itself. One explosion changed geopolitics forever. So, what really happened? Chernobyl was not caused by one mistake. It was a deadly combination of flawed reactor design, human error, ignored safety protocols, poor training, political pressure, and a culture where questioning authority was dangerous. The operators made mistakes, but the system made disaster inevitable. This was engineering failure mixed with political secrecy, a perfect storm. Today, Chernobyl still stands as a warning, not just about nuclear power, but about what happens when ego, secrecy, and bad systems overpower truth. The city of Pripyat remains abandoned. Ferris wheels rust, schools decay. Nature slowly reclaims what humans left behind. But the lesson remains. Sometimes the most dangerous disasters don't begin with explosions. They begin with silence. And that's what really happened at Chernobyl. If you want more videos like this, subscribe this channel.